Hey everyone, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike. So I'm doing a little more work on what I'm going to call the spare parts bike. This is the bike that we started with just a bare CT70 clone frame. It was an Ice Bear frame. And then I just went around the shop and picked up random parts that I keep around here for working on bikes. And we actually had enough parts to assemble a bike. Well, one of the things that we used was one of these, I'm going to say cheap. They are cheap. Chinese aftermarket exhausts. And I don't mind them. I know a lot of people don't like them. I think they look close enough. You know, the round holes don't bother me. You know, the originals had slots, which is fine. But one thing I don't like is how the shield, where it's placed on the muffler. You got too much muffler sticking out the back. You got too much of a gap here. I don't like that it's almost like they welded this bracket on upside down. I mean, to me, the screw should be at the bottom, so you're not catching anything on that, and it's just kind of unsightly for, you know. But so I'm going to spend a couple minutes today and just take this shield off, take the bracketry off of it, and see if I can't relocate the shield in a spot that I think it looks more aesthetically pleasing to me anyway. I've already taken the front one off, obviously, to save a little bit of time. I want to roll it up. You know, it's a little deceiving now because the bike is up on a stand, but when the bike's on the ground and you're looking down at it, I don't want to see a great big gap between the shield and the muffler. I'd kind of like to have it more up, something like that. Yeah, and so that actually, there's the bracketry, and here are the holes. I'm actually pushing it back, what, almost 2 inches, inch and a half, something like that. And I want to roll it up. So anyway, first thing I got to do is I want to get these off of there. They're just spot welded. A couple spots here, and then this one's on each side. I'm just going to take a angle grinder with a flat disc on it and just see if I can't knock those welds down and get those off of there. So I forgot my face shield, so I got to go get it, and then I'll have those off of there. All right, so I've got those taken off of there. I think I like that a little bit better. And we may have to do something to get more curvature in this to get it to fit the way we want. I may have to take it out in the shop and set it on a piece of pipe and kind of, but for right now, okay, let's just mark some random holes here so I'll know where to, I want to take the paint off of. And basically, I'm just doing this so I know where to take the paint off. I want to get down to bare metal so I can weld the nuts. I'm not going to use the brackets I cut off of there. I'm gonna actually weld some other nuts on there, and we'll use those. Okay, and when we're all said and done, we'll go back and hit this with some black primer, and you'll never know any of that happened. We may have to do a little tweaking up here to, no, because if we're going to roll it something like that, there. Somewhere there. And someone there. Okay. Not too bad. I need to go get my welder and get 3 of those shouldered nuts that I use and give me something to weld around. So let me go get equipment to get set up here. I've done this before, so some of you may have seen it, but for those that are new, I use these nuts. Come on, focus on up here. Anyway, hang on, set my welding lead down. I use these nuts that have this little shoulder on it to give me something to weld to, and I hold it. I put a longer bolt in it, give me something to hold on to, and keep the threads, you know, for me, weld splatter going in them. Sorry, anyway. Okay. And I'm just going to do that 2 more times there. And then we'll see if the shield fits. They're not pretty, but I've got those tacked on there. And let's see if the shield will line up now. We can always drill out or modify the holes if we need to. When I went back to get the welder, I also cut off that extra bracket, got rid of that thing. I'm gonna try and use, I didn't check to see if they're the same thread. I assume they were. Yeah, I thought they were. Okay, ooh, still warm. I may have to shorten these screws. They may be too long. I've got those 2 to line up. Oh no, no it will, there's enough play. Ouch, hot, still hot. That's not too bad. It's hard to tell, you know, from up here. Need to see it down on the ground, but I like the way that's flowing with the lines. You know, it's not rolled down as far. We don't have a big gap up here. So I've got to do that one more time up here. I think I'll stay in the picture. I think I'll drill a hole and maybe weld a nut and put one more screw in here someplace to hold that front instead of having something that goes around it. Yeah, let me think on that, how I want to do that, and then we'll tackle that. And then once we get it done, we'll take the shield all back off, spray paint the muffler back with some, you know, flat black high temp paint, and then we also will tape off and we will paint the recessed area here, just like the original Honda had. Paint those black also with the flat black. All right, so I've got the shield all mocked up the way I like it. I've got all the bolts, all the hardware. I drilled a hole here, welded a nut onto the muffler, onto the pipe on the back side of there. I shortened this shield, got rid of the bottom curve so that it mounts on there. So I need to pull that apart and paint the muffler and paint this insert. But before I do that, I got one last piece of fabrication I want to do, and that's I want to cut this bracket off and move it back, you know, 1/2 inch to kind of center it on the shock and get it centered more in the hole here. So I'm going to cut that off, move that, paint these little inserts and paint the muffler, and when you come back, it'll probably be on the bike as a finished piece. So be back in just a minute. All right, and there you go. It's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. This wouldn't be Mini Bike Mike's if it was perfect, would it? But if you're afraid of the fabrication part, the cutting the brackets and relocating the shield, you know, I think painting the insert just black really makes it, gives it more of an appearance of a stock look than just having a completely chrome shield. But, you know, these are mini bikes. This stuff's not that hard. Give it a whirl. If you're after a more authentic look. And then the last thing I do is I actually drill holes. This one, it looks like I put about 8 holes. Sometimes I do 6. But I drill holes in that, around that center pipe, just to kind of open up the exhaust a little bit. Gives it a little deeper sound. I think it lets it flow a little bit better. But guys, thanks for following along. If you have one of these $60 Chinese exhausts and you want to make it look a little more authentic looking to what the Honda did, that's how I do it. Everybody have a great day. See ya.